one of the biggest concerns that I hear from women is my HRT has made me gain weight, or will HRT make me gain weight? And then some people don't go on hormone replacement therapy as a result of it. So let's talk honestly about why weight gain can happen when you go on hormone replacement therapy. HRT itself does not inherently cause fat gain, but it can influence the environment of your body, right? Hey there, I'm Bria, and welcome to the Period Whisperer podcast. If you're over 35 and ready for real answers about your hormones, you're in the right place. Hit subscribe and stay with us. Hey there, sister. Welcome back to the Period Whisperer podcast. Here's my question to start us off today. Have you been thinking about starting, or have you already started on some hormone replacement therapy now that we are in this beautiful age box of perimenopause? It can be an incredible tool. And in fact, I did a full month series on this back in January, so you can dive deep into the different types, whether it's for you or not. But this episode is really for those of you who are thinking about it and who are on it and maybe not getting the results that you were hoping for. In other words, you're still not feeling amazing and you're feeling a little stuck and frustrated. You know, more women than ever are turning to hormone therapy, but what happens when you start hormone replacement therapy and instead of feeling better, you feel puffy, you feel bloated, or maybe you feel like your body is changing in ways that you didn't expect. Again, in other words, you're on it and you're like, wait a second, or I'm not feeling amazing. I've heard other people say, oh my gosh, they feel so amazing. They can't live without it. And what's going on with me? We are in the middle of our April mini series. What the hell happened and what the hell is happening to my body in perimenopause? It's our midlife reality series. And today we're going to talk about something that has absolutely exploded in the last few years. Hormone replacement therapy, or bioidentical hormone replacement therapy, whichever you want to call it. HRT, BHRT, you'll hear different names on it. More awareness, more access to it these days, more conversations, which I think is really such a good thing. Because for a long time, women were told just to deal with it, or that it was dangerous, or that they can't get it until after they've achieved menopause. But now we're finally seeing better research coming to the table, better education, more options. But with that, with the rise in popularity, has come a lot of confusion, right? And I would say one of the biggest concerns that I hear from women is my HRT has made me gain weight, or will HRT make me gain weight? In fact, it kind of reminds me of decades ago when we were going on the birth control pill, when everyone was giving us birth control pill and you were like, oh, I'm probably going to gain weight. And you can just inevitably expect it to happen when maybe it shouldn't be, or we just assume it's a part of the journey. So then some people don't go on hormone replacement therapy as a result of it. So today I want to talk about what the research actually says, when hormone replacement therapy can be helpful for you, what's normal, of course, versus not normal, so that you can start to talk yourself through things if you're just starting it, or if you've been on it for a while, maybe give you some clarity as to like, wait a second, maybe I need to dig a little deeper, or maybe I need to adjust this a little bit, why weight gain can happen, and 5 tips that can help you to avoid it or improve upon it if you're feeling a little stuck in this area. So let's start with the rise of hormone replacement therapy and what the research actually says. Let's just zoom right out for a second. Hormone replacement therapy has made a major comeback, and for good reason, right? Newer research is showing that when used appropriately, especially earlier in the perimenopause transition, which I think is really important to understand, because I still have a lot of clients that come to me who have a cycle, even if it's just been like twice a year, just still hanging on. And they have practitioners telling them like, oh no, we don't address that until you've like achieved that 1 year of no period. You're actually post-menopause. But the research is saying that the earlier we started, hormone replacement therapy can support bone density, brain health, cardiovascular health, sleep, mood, quality of life, libido, weight loss, muscle gain, really all the things that we're complaining about. So I want you, I think what we're starting to recognize is that in a still cycling woman, hormone replacement therapy considering it anyway is really like our window of opportunity, we'll call it, meaning starting it closer to the onset of hormonal decline may offer benefits more so than waiting until later. But here's the nuance, right? Like everything, there's always going to be a caveat here. Hormone replacement therapy is not a magic fix. It's a tool. And like any tool, it works best when used in the right context. So I like to make things very tangible and real in my brain. It's almost like if you're thinking of starting hormone replacement therapy or you're starting it, you know, probably you're going to get on some estrogen, some progesterone. We kind of need both to balance out a little bit. And it's like if you were putting together a piece of furniture and haven't checked to see if you have the tool yet, right? So we need to know, do we even need this hormone replacement therapy? Do you already have a hammer? And or are you going to go out and buy another hammer and now you have two hammers, right? Like we don't need two hammers. So one, we always want to know, do we need it? Two, we want to make sure it is the right tool, right, for our body. Like it's not very beneficial to try to use a flathead screwdriver when you need a Phillips screwdriver. That's the cross one for those of us who don't know those things. I learned that years ago when I ran a painting business. Now I know how to do these things. Like putting together IKEA furniture, right? You can have all the Allen wrenches in the world, but if you don't have the right size, it's going to be really difficult to put that thing together. So it's a tool, it's an amazing tool. And when it is the correct tool for you, it really can feel like magic, but it's still just a tool that does an important job for us. So let's talk about what's normal versus not normal on hormone replacement therapy, because I think this is where we can get very confused and, of course, where rumors spread about these things. It can be normal for a temporary adjustment to occur. Things like a slight fluid retention in the beginning. So, yes, you might see that scale go up. Maybe you feel your clothes overall feeling a bit tighter, feel a little puffy. Things like breast tenderness in the beginning, mild shifts as the body adapts, right? These should stabilize within 2 to 6 weeks, I would say. These are, again, these temporary adjustments. They remind me of, and I could probably do an entire episode on creatine, but they might remind me of starting to take creatine. I avoided taking it for so long because the first few times I took it, I got really puffy and then I just didn't push through those couple of weeks. Side note, with creatine, you need to make sure you have good quality creatine and you might need a lower dose. So there's nuances to these things, right? But it is normal to have an adjustment period where you're like, oh, I feel better, but I'm feeling a little puffy. So you should, along with that puffiness or maybe that breast tenderness, you should feel more stable. Like you should feel the benefits, either seeing it in your cycle, feeling it in your mood. You should start to recognize some of the benefits simultaneously at the same time. And again, 2 to 6 weeks, that should normalize out for you. But I'd say what's not normal is a lot of weight gain. What's not normal is if it hasn't stabilized, right? That if these things don't improve for you or you're having, major mood swings or things are getting worse, I think this is a really clear sign for you that something is off in the bigger picture. Not that hormone replacement therapy is bad, but that your body may need more support or better personalization. And I think this is what, so many of us end up missing, is that hormone replacement therapy is a science and an art. Like there's a fluidity to it, especially when we're using it in a cycling woman, right? So lots of benefits to doing it before you achieve menopause. But once, if you're going to do that, we still have our hormones cycling. So there's a bit more of an art to adding it when it needs to come versus being postmenopausal and not having any type of your own hormones. And then we can kind of add it in. And still these symptoms, these side effects can occur. And we want to be keeping an eye on like why weight gain can happen, why moods can go off. And most women I talk to, they do know their bodies. I think we don't always trust our body. So this is, a little call to action for you to trust if you're feeling off, to recognize if it isn't settling or if it's too much for you, and to get the help that you need. So let's talk honestly about why weight gain can happen when you go on hormone replacement therapy. HRT itself does not inherently cause fat gain, but it can influence the environment of your body, right? So here's a few reasons that weight gain can happen. Number one is fluid retention. That's what I had mentioned earlier, estrogen specifically can really increase water retention, especially early on. But it should pan out, like taking creatine. It should pan out. Maybe it's a little too much for you. Maybe your body's just adjusting to it. So if it hasn't panned out in 2 to 6 weeks, we want to go and revisit that dosage or really look under the hood in your body. Number two, estrogen dominance patterns. Estrogen dominance is a really, I think, interesting, or it's a little broad of a topic because in a body, we can feel like we're having estrogen dominant symptoms like bloating, like inflammation, like fat storage, like tender breasts, like a bit more, yeah, just weight gain in general, heavier periods. We can start to have these things without even having too much estrogen. I have many clients that come to me, and when we run a Dutch, they don't have enough estrogen, which is why they probably feel like everything sucks because estrogens are rose-colored glasses, but they're not getting their estrogen out. They're not metabolizing it out of the body or detoxing it properly. So then we have this recirculation of estrogen. So the body's experiencing it, but your brain's not getting it the same way. If estrogen is increased, right, without adequate progesterone or detox support, it can create that bloating, that inflammation, that fat storage signaling that we are trying to avoid. Number three, poor estrogen metabolism. I think most of this is going to drive down to this for you. If your gut aren't clearing estrogen efficiently, it can recirculate. As I said, this is a big one that so many people miss, and really why, as a practitioner, like there's not a lot of hills I will die on and be like, it has to be this way. But I feel very strongly that before you go on hormone replacement therapy, you should always run a Dutch. It is the most effective lab to help you understand, am I detoxing estrogen safely and appropriately through the liver, through the gut, out of the body, right? We want it to come in, we want it used, and we want it to get out. We don't want that garbage hanging around any longer. We don't want used stuff hanging around. Number four reason that we might gain weight is blood sugar dysregulation, right? If insulin resistance is already present, HRT doesn't always fix that. It can help, because sometimes we get more insulin resistant when our hormones drop or when they get bajiggity, certainly when our progesterone goes down. But sometimes if we aren't doing those underlying practices, and I will talk about them, if we're not doing, the consistent eating, the right fuel mixture for us, then we can stay really stuck in this insulin resistance. And sometimes I find even with optimized hormones, if we've been through a longer period of chronic stress at this stage in our life, sometimes we still get a little stuck in this frozen aspect. It feels like our body is just unsure that it's going to be safe. So it just continues to hold on to weight. And that is where, if you are doing the foundations, if your hormones are optimized, or HRT, or detoxification, if that is coming in and clearing appropriately, and we're still seeing, higher than we'd like insulin or glucose levels, insulin resistance markers, then that is where microdosing peptides can be very, very helpful for people. But we want to see those markers first. So if that's you, you can always reach out and book a free peptide strategy call with me. And then, of course, number five reason that HRT can cause weight gain is going to be gut and inflammation. If the gut microbiome is off, estrogen recycling and inflammation can increase. Period. End of story. And I think another thing that's really important when we think about the gut is that often we notice very quickly if our gut is off, right? If we're not pooping every day, or we're having loose stools, or we're having gas or bloating that kind of grows throughout the day, or gas at night every single night, things like that, acid reflux, those can be really obvious signs. But in many high achieving women that I work with, we who don't have any gut, like noticeable or common gut issues, but their gut is very depleted. So they're just not getting the nutrients out of their food. They are not, getting the hormones out of their body. So they're not making the hormones because they're not getting the nutrients, and they're not getting whatever they are making out of the body. And it's just not enough to create a noticeable problem. So then they start hormone replacement therapy and they start to have issues. These are the 5 reasons that we commonly will see weight gain, and this is where I think we can shift away from fear and really into strategy to help you understand how to, eliminate the risk of unnecessary weight gain and just getting the rewards of hormone replacement therapy, or address if you're already on hormone replacement therapy, how do we address this weight gain that has happened if it's coming? So here's your 5 tips. Now we're gonna get to the good stuff for you. These are the things that I really focus on with my clients to make hormone replacement therapy work better with the body and not against it. Because as I said, I have many clients that come to me already on hormone replacement therapy and they are not losing weight or they're stuck and they're gaining weight. Personally, this month I was the first month I've ever tried hormone replacement therapy for myself. And it's been a wonderful experience for me. Um, I will talk a little bit more about it once I've had a bit more data. I mean, it's only been a month, but also my wife has gone on it. It's been really, really helpful for her in terms of our mood, in terms of our energy, in terms of just how we see the world sometimes. So there is so many wonderful benefits to it. And then it gives you the capacity to live the life that you want. But these things need to happen. So if you've been on it, if you're thinking about getting on it, here are 5 tips for you that I always focus on, that I focus on in myself, that I focused on with my wife, that I focus on with my clients to make sure that we are in the best place to use hormone replacement therapy to get the best results out of it and to avoid unnecessary weight gain. Tip number 1, we want to support those estrogen detox pathways. Remember, estrogen isn't just about how much you have, it's about how well you process and clear it. This involves liver function, methylation, gut health. Again, if detox pathways are sluggish, it's kind of like a slow drain, right? We've all had slow drains. Maybe the hair has come out too much and it's stuffed up that drain, or there's just too much product that's bunged up, and all of a sudden, like the shower water like starts to fill the bottom of the shower. I hate when that happens. So we need to clear it, right? We got to make sure that gets cleared out. So if detox pathways are sluggish like that, estrogen will recirculate, which is going to contribute to that bloating, to that weight gain, to that inflammation. So how do we do this? Of course, we want to support the liver and support the gut. Some simple things are making sure you're making sure you're hydrated, making sure you're taking your minerals. I love my bean minerals for this, making sure you're addressing any like known mineral or vitamin deficiencies in your body because your liver really needs those. Cutting back on inflammatory food and drinks, of course, sugar, alcohol, caffeine, things like that that can really bung up that liver, especially when it's been very busy handling so many things. Sweating can be really good, right, to help with that detox. So your hot yoga classes, these things can be really gentle ways to help with that detox. Castor oil packs, if you've never heard of those, definitely done full episodes on detox, so you can check those things out. Most importantly, I'm going to say look under the hood, right? Like it'll help us get a very clear strategy if we can see in your body what's going on. And that's where functional lab work, like running a Dutch, running a GI map annually, can be so helpful for you. So number 1, support your estrogen detox pathways. One more thing I will say on that as a great tip is seed cycling. If you are still a cycling woman, and even if you're not, seed cycling can be very valuable. I'm not going to dive into it right now, but you can Google it. It is very easy to do, but it's where you essentially eat certain seeds at certain times of the month to help with hormone promotion and hormone detoxification. It can be a nice, gentle first step that is safe to help with that detoxification. Okay. Tip number 2, build and protect your muscle, of course, right? Muscle is your metabolic advantage in midlife. Hormone replacement therapy can help support muscle retention, but you still need to use your muscle, right? So, I mean, I feel like everyone knows this. We just did a great episode last week on why your workouts might not be working. If you're feeling good in your body, and that's my caveat, right? If you're waking up without energy, it's not the best idea to spend that energy on fitness. Unfortunately, we need to figure out why you're not waking up with energy. If you're working out in the morning and then you are just tanked in the afternoon, again, we're in this situation where you probably don't have the energy coming into the body to support that type of demand. So that's when we want to make sure, again, that we are addressing what's under the hood, what's actually happening here. But if you are feeling good, like you're waking up with energy in the morning and you know your adrenals are in a good state, this is where focusing on that strength training, adequate protein, giving yourself recovery days, doing nothing or doing some yoga, mobility work, these can really help regulate your blood sugar, work on that metabolism, address the fat storage, and really just support the use of the hormones that you're putting in for a good use, right? We want these hormones to help us feel better, and then we want to put them to actual use in our body. So again, if you are struggling, make sure you're not pushing through yourself through hard workouts and using energy you don't actually have. We got to address what's under the hood. And that's where I think that Dutch test can be so supportive as well, because it's going to look at your adrenals for you. So one test is now going to help you with your adrenals. It's going to help you with your estrogen detox. And then tip number 3, stabilize your blood sugar, right? It doesn't matter how many hormones you need or how many hormones you take. Like, it is next to impossible to balance your sex hormones if your other hormones in your body, your adrenal hormones, your hunger hormones, if those are all wacky. So we need to make sure that we are focusing on the things that help stabilize our blood sugar. Protein with every meal, balanced meals, right? Making sure you're having protein, fat, and fiber at every single meal, minimizing your extreme fasting or your restriction. You have regulated blood sugar if you're waking up a lot in the night, or if you are constantly hungry and grazing, like if you never fully feel satisfied. And also, I think we can start to recognize insulin resistance in a lot of food noise, because I think it's your brain's way to be consistently looking for energy to make sure it's going to have enough. So if you are having unstable blood sugar, we want to address that first before going on hormone replacement therapy, or if you're already on it, then we need to make this like a top priority. And again, these are things that we can uncover in labs. Like if you get some blood work done, you can ask for your hemoglobin A1C, you can ask for your fasting glucose and your fasting insulin. That will give you a good picture of how your blood sugar is looking in your body. And these are also labs that I typically run for my clients. Okay, tip number 4 is to support your gut microbiome. This is one of the most overlooked pieces. Your gut plays a major role in how estrogen is metabolized and eliminated. If the microbiome is imbalanced, estrogen can be reabsorbed, it can be recirculated, it can contribute to symptoms. So, supporting gut health can make a huge difference in how your body is going to respond to hormone replacement therapy. It's also, for those of us out here who are having, testing out peptides and getting the benefits of peptides, the order goes foundational health, right? Which is regulating your blood sugar, quality sleep, good movement, all of these things, stress management, optimize your hormones, and then peptides, because each of these builds on the next thing in order for you to get the best results out of it. Right? We want to go in the order. That's how we're going to get the most benefit. So if you have been playing with peptides and you're thinking, oh, I'm not getting any results, we probably need to go back to step 1. Is the blood sugar regulated? Are we doing those foundations? Are my hormones optimized? Like, those things must happen before we're going to get the best benefit out of peptide replacement therapy. Okay, you might be noticing that all the tips are centered around estrogen. It is most common that estrogen is the one that's causing a lot of the issues here. Progesterone is really quite gentle, so it either doesn't really work much for you or it works really well. So it is centered around this estrogen, but we need both of those hormones in order for each other to work optimally. So if you are going to test out hormone replacement therapy, then you're likely going to be testing out those two, potentially some testosterone, but this is where the challenge really comes in. So here's my tip number 5. It is to, if you are cycling, if you're still cycling as a woman, it's to consider the art of when you're taking your hormones. So for me, I still have a very regular period. It was starting to get a little bit wonkier, and I was starting to notice lighter periods, and I was starting to notice I just felt really cranky for more than half of the month. So what instead of just taking hormone replacement therapy all month long for me, and this is not advice for you, we need to just consider the big picture. I decided to take it just during the time of the month where I really felt like I needed it. So, because you might have enough in the beginning, your, days 1 through 14. But what I found was from day 14 through day 28, that's when we notice a lot of those symptoms are starting to really bug us, right? Really being irritated by other people, just feeling lethargic, not having energy, feeling cranky, that kind of thing, because our hormones are dropping out too fast. So you can revisit cycling your hormone replacement therapy, maybe considering just taking your progesterone and estrogen in the second half of your cycle. Now, this is something that you want to discuss with your healthcare practitioner or a practitioner that understands this kind of thing, like someone like me, who we can help you test this out and see how it works for you and make sure it's being done safely. So those are your 5 tips to help reduce that. I'll recap them really quickly, right? We want to focus on detoxification. We want it to support those estrogen detox pathways. We want to build and protect that muscle, stabilize that blood sugar, and make sure that you are supporting your gut microbiome. And then consider the dosing and the art of your hormone replacement therapy. And you want to talk to your practitioner about that. Here's my reminder for you: test, don't guess. This is where everything comes together, right? Because here's the truth: two women can have the exact same hormone therapy and have completely different experiences. Why? Because their internal and external environment are different. This is where these functional labs that I talk about all the time on here, and I feel the benefit of them is doing them annually, year after year, Dutch testing to look at your hormone levels, your sex hormones, your adrenal hormones, how they're clearing in the body, some of your minerals and your organic acids. It really helps look at that, and metabolism, methylation, all of these great things. A GI map to assess gut health and microbiome balance. This becomes really valuable. We get to understand what you're missing in your gut or what your gut actually needs. We don't want to be taking probiotics if we have too many, good bugs or bad bugs at the party. We need to calm those bugs, right? We need to get the right digestive enzymes for you if you need that. Do we need to seal that gut? How is your immune system looking? All of these things matter in making a customized protocol. And I think these days, as women, we're recognizing that our internal environment is different and we want a customized approach. We are not cookie cutter. So that's where these labs can be so beneficial. And often they are covered by HSA, FSA. We can use some insurance to support them. So consider that for you if you haven't done that already, right? These tests will help you understand how your body is processing estrogen, whether your detox pathways are working, whether your gut is contributing to hormone imbalance, what your cortisol rhythm looks like, your blood sugar regulation. So instead of guessing, we actually get to personalize your approach. And this is often the difference between hormone replacement therapy that doesn't work for you and the ones that completely change how you feel. So if you are considering hormone replacement therapy or you've started it and something feels off, this is exactly where having that right data can change everything for you, because hormone replacement therapy isn't a one size fits all approach. Your body has a story. Your testing helps us read that story. And I also think having a practitioner that takes the time to really go through your lab with you so that you understand it makes all the difference in you knowing your body so that you don't necessarily need a practitioner all the time, and trusting it again, right? Learning to trust what your body is saying to you. HRT is not the problem if you've been gaining weight or if you've been frustrated by it, but it's not the whole solution either. So the goal is not just to add hormones, right? The goal is to create a body that can respond to hormones. Okay, sister, I hope that helps you. I hope that gives you some clear, focused tips and guidance of what to do to get the most out of hormone replacement therapy so you can get the most out of your life, and also to feel your best when you're on it. Make sure that you're not having to unwind decisions or unwind issues to detox and get there. If this episode has helped you, please share it with your friends or subscribe below. Please reach out or swipe up, and in the show notes, book a free call. Let me help you understand if hormone replacement therapy is for you, if peptides are for you, what functional lab work would benefit you the most so you're not wasting your time or money. Next week, we complete our mini series in What the Hell is Happening in My Body. I hope you will come back. But until then, go out, be more in your life and not just less on a scale. We'll catch you in the next episode. If you're 35 plus and ready to stop guessing, start understanding your hormones, and feel your absolute best, hit subscribe. That's what we do here.